So guys, I was browsing the web the other week and I saw an advertisement from Blacks for a backpack, a 65 litre Eurohike Nepal, and the offer was £28, down from a recommended retail price of £60. So what I want to do is take a look round the backpack, see its features, and then test it out by packing my equipment and seeing how it fits on my back. So I hope you'll find this interesting. So first impressions, well, it's a fairly neat backpack, quite simple in design. It has the main pack itself, obviously. There's a lower compartment and two side pockets, which look roomy, but we'll see later on. And then inside, top of the hood, is another fairly big, spacious pocket here. So, first impressions is it looks like it'll do the job. The material itself seems fairly robust. The proof will be over time to see how well it lasts when it gets knocked about a bit. The buckles and the straps, well, they're thinner than other backpacks I've used, especially the buckles. They look like they might easily break, but again, the proof will be in the pudding. And on the back, you have an adjustable back height, which you can undo these straps to lower it or make it higher, depending obviously on your own height. I've got mine set at maximum here. I'm 6 feet tall, and this is the maximum it will go. So we'll see later on how it actually fits. And then the hip belt seems nice and wide and seems padded enough. So I think that might do the job. So first impressions, doesn't look too bad. Let's get on and pack it and see how everything fits inside. So let's start at the bottom of the pack. It's a good place to start. You can actually access the bottom of the pack by undoing these straps here, unzipping the compartment to give you access, and you can put your stuff in there from this side. I actually prefer to load from the top when I'm packing the backpack. I find that easier to do than trying to cram it in at the side. So there's an inner divider which has got a zip on it. You can unzip that to give you the full volume throughout the pack. So I'm going to do that. Now, in a previous video, I went through all of my gear I carry for 3-season backpacking. So I won't go into the detail of the kit I carry as I'm loading this backpack. If you want to find out more about the gear I carry, then I'll put a link down below for the video that I recorded earlier. So we'll start with my sleeping mat. This is a Thermarest Neo Air, and I'm going to stuff that in the back, bottom of the pack, and fit it snugly against the back of the pack, so it's next to my back. Then for the sleeping bag, what I use is an oversized dry sack, and I'm going to put that in first in front of the sleeping mat, and then load and pack my sleeping bag within the dry sack and compress it all down. So you just keep stuffing the thing in, squishing it down, and fill out all the space so you don't waste any space. And you just keep pushing into the nooks and crannies, and that's fitting down quite nicely. So that will do for now, and I'll just close up the dry bag to keep it waterproof. So next up, I'm going to put in my shelter. My preferred shelter is a bivy bag. This is the Alpkit Hunker Extra Large. Stuck that in here. I also have a tarp I use, a Rapsil tarp. This not only serves as a shelter for sleeping under, but as an emergency shelter as well. Stuff that in. I have a ground sheet, gear top ground sheet, in case the ground is a bit wet. Again, just push it all down. For the tarp, I've got pegs in a bag and some guys that I've prepared. So they go in next. And a spares kit, which I went through in my previous video. Things like paracord and some spares for the thermarest and other stuff. So that just sits down there as well. Next up, I've got another dry sack. This contains clothing for nighttime, a compressed puffer jacket, hat and gloves for sleeping in. I use an oversized dry sack again so that you can put that in with it open, squeeze it down and roll it up to keep it dry. My luxury item is a chair, Helinox chair. I described that in my other video. I'm going to put that vertically in here towards my back so that you keep the heavier items towards your back so that you're not leaning back with the backpack on. Got fuel for my mess burner. I'll pack that in vertically at the back. Titanium mug and my water in an Nalgene bottle. I just fit that in there to save some space. And again, put that in vertically. My cooking system is my Avenue pot and mess burner all in here. Nice and light. I've got ignition equipment, fast starting equipment here. So I'll just shove that in. A flat pack with foldable plates and cups. That just fits snugly in. And plastic bottle, which is empty at the moment, but usually it's full of whiskey. That's my luxury item. That goes in as well. Right, so far so good. Next I'll put in food, which I store in dry bags. Depends how many nights I'm going for as to how much food I carry. I'll just fit that in. Got bin liners to carry out rubbish. And then spare clothes. So apart from what I'm wearing, and not necessarily this jumper, I take some extras and keep those in a dry bag. And again, just squish it down to save space, to it up to keep it dry and keep it near the top of the pack so that I've got access to it during the day. And then finally, for the top of the pack, easy access, is my waterproofs. So they just fit in at the top. So once I've got the main pack full, just use these pull cords to get it all squished in. There's another one here at the top. And that looks okay. So in the lid, I use this to store things like suntan cream, sunblock. It's going to be a hot day. I've got an emergency bivy bag here, wrap bivy bag, and a foil thermal blanket for emergencies as well. This is for hygiene. It's my pack trowel in case you get caught short. And in here is another protective bag with my midge net and some midge spray. And then finally, this is my water filtration kit with a couple of bladders in there and a filter. And then With that in, we can compress the pack down using these straps, and also the bottom straps as well, just to tighten everything up, ready for carrying. Right, now for the side pockets. Now the side pockets did look spacious when it was empty. However, with more stuff inside, then it's pretty limited space. I had thought I would get a water bottle in there, but my litre Nalgene bottle is too much of a tight fit. So I've repurposed these side pockets. So one of the side pockets I'll use for my first aid kit for easy access. That side, and then on the other side I've got a dry bag here which contains 2 battery packs. I carry a lot of gear that needs recharging, not only in my emergency equipment, my phone, but also if I'm carrying camera gear as well. So I've got 2 packs in here that should last for any short trip at least, before they need recharging themselves. All the cables from my electrical gear are in a pouch that fits in, and another pouch here with a spare head torch. My main one I'll show you in a moment. Zips are a bit fiddly, it seems. In fact, when I look at the zips on this, they're not as sturdy as some other backpacks. And you've got to be careful, I would imagine, that you don't overfill these pockets, because if you try to do the zip up, it's likely to rip the seam. But again, we'll see how that goes over time. A couple of other things then. Here's Harris. Hello, Harris. It's my dog. We've also got straps and fasteners for walking poles. So to attach the walking poles, just put them in the loop, twist it a few times. Don't know how many walking poles I've lost because I haven't done that. And then use this bungee sort of strap here to fix that firmly and give it a good pull. So that's one. So there we go with it packed. It looks fairly neat. You haven't got stuff hanging out of pockets. It's nice and compact. In terms of weight, well, let's give that a measure. So baggage scales, just put those through the loop, and coming up to about 12 kilos here, which isn't too bad. Right, let's get this thing on. Let's do up the hip belt first of all. Straps are easy to pull. Got my back bent over to take the weight while I do this. And I want to make sure the hip belt is at the top of your hips. Tighten that up. And there we go. At the moment, I've got the full weight on my hips. And that feels not too bad. The hip belt feels as if it's going to hold. I'm now going to put on the sternum strap first. And then pull these two just to take some of the weight on my shoulders. And then at the back, there are lifters here to pull the pack further in to your back. But for first feel, then that's not too bad at all. So that's the main pack filled. Just thought I'd share with you also what I carry I use this little pouch here. This is an OMM Trio mat pouch. I use this to carry gear that I need easy access to save having to keep taking my backpack off. Here's a life straw for taking water from a stream if necessary. I have my main head torch, easy at hand. Notebook and pen, writing notes obviously. Little pen knife. Pack of tissues. Emergency whistle. Monoculars for looking in the distance. A mag light torch just as a backup. I also have a wind meter, Kestrel wind meter, which tells me the temperature as well, so that's useful when the wind picks up. And a compass. In fact, I've got 2 compass in here. That's either in the pouch or in my map pocket. So I carry my map in my map pocket. And then finally, my satellite communicating device. I have this switched on and just put it in the top of the pack, and it's still able to get a signal. So those go in this pouch. And what I do is I hang this pouch on the front of the backpack, and I've had to adapt the backpack to be able to accommodate this. So I'll show you that just now. Okay, so here I've got the pack back on, and I attach my pouch by using these straps which have got hooks on. So I hook into the O-rings like so, and like so, so it's hanging nicely there. And then on the bottom I've adapted these straps to put 2 other hooks on them, and what I've attached to the backpack through the straps is some more O-rings. So I clip these lower straps onto the O-rings, which essentially attach it to my hip belt. And what that does is stop this swinging around when you're walking. So now I've got my pouch for access to stuff that I can quickly get to during the day without having to continually take the pack off. So I've been using this idea for many years and it works well for me. Might look a bit ridiculous to some folk, but I'm past caring what I look like nowadays. So yeah, that's the pack system. The backpack feels really good. The weight seems well balanced, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite comfortable to take out. One remaining thing then is, can we get the tent in this pack as well? So I'm going to quickly unpack a few things and then repack, including the tent, to see how it all fits. So I've unpacked the pack down to the sleeping bag and the sleeping mat and the bivy bag, and taken everything else out. So we're now going to see if we can get my tent in. This is the Hilleberg Acto. One of the things that might help is to take the poles out and pack those separately, and that way be able to squish this down a bit more so that it fits in sideways perhaps. So let's squeeze that in. I'll slip the poles in vertically down one of the sides. Right, let's repack. So water, midges are starting to come out. Fuel, So it looks like it's fitted in, bit of a squeeze. Let's put the lid on. Tidy away the hanging straps. So now I've got this on my back again. We've now got the tent in there as well. And if I do a twirl, you can see it all squeezes in. It feels comfortable. I'm not sure I'll be saying that after a day's walk, but the hip belts seem to be taking the weight fine. If I loosen off the shoulders, I've got all the weight on my hips now, and that feels great. So I think this is going to work. I need to be a bit more efficient with my packing, but yeah, off to the hills we go, I think. So guys, that was a quick tour of the Eurohike Nepal 65 backpack, £28. As I said at the beginning, had to give it a try. I think it'll do. Let's see how long it lasts after it takes a bit of a battering. But sure enough, folks doing their Duke of Edinburgh awards or going off on a trip around Europe or wherever, just a pack that'll last them even the summer will do the trick at that sort of price. But you never know, you might get more than your money's worth out of it. So it'd be interesting to see how it does fare in harsher conditions. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, thanks again for watching. And make sure you stay safe out on those hills. Bye for now. Yeah, so which way do we go? This way.